Hi guys, welcome back. I don't know how loud I have to talk because I've got a fan going. It's like 30 degrees outside. I've got a fan going. So I've got the microphone. I've got my little helper here. It's not a beetle this time. It's my one and only child. His name is Oki. He's not my one and only child. I have many stuffed animals, but this is Oki. He's very gorgeous. Hi, I'm a goth and I read a lot. Welcome to the channel. It's been about 5 months since I've last posted. In that time, it's mainly just been bad. I've had a really rough year. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of you guys know that I have chronic migraine. That's been really, really tough. I've had a really bad year for chronic pain and everything. Mental health also not so good. So I took a little break from making videos and being on the internet. Also from reading. I haven't been reading very much. I've been reading a lot of fanfic, but I have not been reading very much. So we're trying to get back into it. What I have for you guys today is actually very special. We're gonna do another extreme horror and splatterpunk readathon. So I'm gonna be reading for a little bit today and a little bit tomorrow. I'm gonna read for the rest of the night tonight. It's like 7 o'clock, I think. But we're gonna read for quite a few hours today, and we're gonna read for plenty more hours tomorrow. I did a godless order. Godless, if you don't know, is I added a passcode to my Kindle. 1 second. Because I have fanfic on here and my parents are nosy. So anyway, so I have a bunch of godless books from the last readathon video we did, which I think the last time I did an extreme horror vlog, it was like October, last spooky season, I think. So I have a bunch left over from that. I also did another order. We got some new authors, some new things to try, and I also have a bunch of Kindle Unlimited books. So we have all kinds. We have all of these. We have these. More here. We've got all kinds, and I do have a few specific horror books that I want to do individual readathon reading vlogs for, like the Playground books by Aaron Beauregard. I really want to read those in a video. There's a few like series that I want to do, but this one we're just gonna be reading all things extreme horror and splatterpunk. Okay, so we're gonna get started. There is one specific one that I really want to read, but yeah, welcome to the video. If you like videos like this, if you finish this vlog and you really like it or whatever, I do have quite a few other extreme horror reading vlogs on my channel and also on the way, so please subscribe if you enjoy in any way. I also am going to be active on TikTok and Instagram again. It's efreeds if you want to follow me there. Yeah, welcome to the journey. I'm just a goth who reads a lot, and I'm going to be back to making content. The first book, hands down, has got to be this one that I'm really, really excited for. It's only like 22 pages, I think. Yeah, it's 22 pages. It's called The Pigman. Look at that cover. Isn't that gnarly? That's like so crazy. This is by, I think it's Oscar Brady. His name is down in there. I can barely read it. So deeply poetic and profoundly repulsive. I got this on Godless. It's 22 pages. I've heard some gruesome things about it. I'm very, very excited. So I'm going to read this in one go, and then I'll be back to tell you my thoughts. I finished The Pigman. That was really disgusting. Like, it's been a long time since I've read something that gross. In fact, the about the author note that comes with the book says Oscar Brady probably needs therapy, but writing works too. And yeah, he probably does need therapy, but keep on writing though. He should keep on writing because that was really good. It's definitely splatterpunk, not extreme horror. And if you're unaware of what the difference is, the basic initial difference, like there's all the semantics that you could go through, but extreme horror is just as grotesque, disgusting, taboo, gross, horrifying as horror can get, just for the sake of being gross and disgusting. Whereas splatterpunk, it gets the punk in the name from it being usually a sort of ironic social commentary through the means of intense gore, body horror, bodily fluids, rape, things like that. So this was definitely a true splatterpunk, in my opinion. It was basically about, I mean, it's 22 pages, but we packed a lot in there. It's basically about this man who was abused early in life by his mom, who was very religious, and she would punish him for any type of sin physically. So he said a bad word early on in the book, like the first instance we see with him and his mom. I think it's the only actual interaction we see with his mom. No, there's another one, but he says a swear word as a young child, and so she makes him eat soap and like swallow it. And so he learns at a very young age that like to absolve yourself of sin, you have to self-mutilate. You have to remove the part of you that sinned, if that makes sense. So he goes through this transformation throughout his life into a pig man. He cuts off his nose for doing something quite disgusting that I don't even want to talk about, because it was really, I almost like was like, what the fuck am I doing reading this book because of that? But that's how you know it's a good splatterpunk book, is when you're like, is this too far? Hey, is this too far? Because I think it is, but I'm going to keep reading it because I want to know what's going to happen. That's the disease that I have. I don't know, maybe you would have stopped but I have a disease. Anyway, so like on page 5, there's one part that says the pigman, through the mortification of the flesh, yearns for the unattainable sanctity. And so it's very much about like giving into desire and how that can be interpreted as sin, or what cravings of our flesh are sin and what are not, and how do we absolve from them. And it's very interesting. It's very thought-provoking, disgusting little thing. I highly recommend. It's on Godless if you want to go read it. I'd like to do another short one, and then maybe we'll do like a bit of a longer one. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Ooh, I really want to read this one too. The cover won't show up on my copy, but it's a really gorgeous cover. I also probably can't show it in this video. It's literally just all nudity. It's just people covered in blood. Naked people covered in blood, but it's a really cool cover, in my opinion. Maybe you think it's disgusting. I'm sorry if you do. Anyway, it's gonna be Meat by Nick Bergen. I hear really good things about this. This has been trending on Godless for a little while. It's 53 pages, so let's go. Hey guys, if you can hear barking, I'm so sorry. I also don't know about this angle. I'm really sorry about it. It's just getting darker in my room because the sun is setting and I don't feel like turning on an actual light. So I just finished Meat. What a freaking book that was. That was genuinely crazy. I feel like I should probably feel ashamed that I liked it so much. It was such good erotic body horror, and that's exactly the kind of thing that I love. It was just disgusting and like so disturbing. Like basically it's about this girl who is like addicted to body horror. Like she gets off on it and she finds this website after years of watching snuff films. Finds this website where you can sell chunks of your body or like pieces of meat to a person, and they make a video of them cutting off the body part. So like she starts by selling like a tiny piece of her ass, like a little inch of skin, and so she goes to this warehouse and she meets the buyer there because they like bid on it. She meets the buyer there, he sets up a camera and he cuts off the piece and then eats it right there, and it's like, thank you so much, oh my gosh. So it's like really freaky, like cult like almost, but it's just a bunch of people who love eating human meat and causing people pain, and they get off on it. So yeah, it's basically about this girl Lila, her journey from being like a young preteen watching things like Tusk and The Fly, and then going into snuff films, and then going into this online underground selling chunks and chunks and chunks of her body, quitting her job so that she can chop off her hands and sell them to people, and it all culminates in this one giant feast. And it was just crazy. If you like body horror, if you like eroticism and horror, I really recommend it. It was genuinely just insane. It was just insane. So wow, like Nick Bergen, you're on my list. Like that was really good. We were off to a really good start, I feel like. I think I want to read a Kindle Unlimited one next, maybe. Ooh, wait. What about Little Red Riding the Dark Web by Anne Snow? This is a book that I've been wanting to read for a really long time because I think last month or the month before, I read all of Anne Snow's previous works, except for one. One of them's not in this series. This is book 4 out of these 7 twisted fairy tales that she's doing. The rest of them are going to come in this bind up at the end of the year, I think. But this one, Little Red Riding the Dark Web, is the 4th one that I had to buy on Godless because it got banned from Amazon. So the first one is 3 Little Piggies. Then there's The Ugly Duckling, which was really gross. It was crazy. And then there's Goldilocks and the 3 Men, which was probably my favorite so far. This one is, again, Little Red Riding Hood, but very loosely because it's about a girl going on the dark web, I presume. And it is 70 pages. Yeah, you can get this on Godless. It got removed from Amazon apparently. But yeah, Anne Snow's a newer author, and I just started seeing her when I was getting back into the bookish space on Instagram. And then I got added to a horror fiction book reviewer author space on Discord, and she's actually in it. So shout out Anne Snow. We're basically mutuals. I'm just kidding. We're in the same server. I love your work, Anne Snow. We're gonna read this. I'm very excited because I love the other books of hers that I've read, especially Goldilocks and the 3 Men. And yeah, it's about 8:46 right now, so I'm probably gonna read until like 11. So that's like a little over 2 hours. I'm gonna read. This is genuinely taking me out. Pretty brave girl, really. Girl, it's haunted. I've seen this before. I don't know what it is in this book, but it is hitting. Also, I don't know what's happening with my phone camera. My phone camera on this phone. I just got a new phone like a couple weeks ago, and this is like my first time filming on it. I don't know why it takes like 2 seconds after pressing the record button to start recording. So I keep getting cut off by myself. I don't know what that's about, but this is getting crazy. Like, I feel like I'm not prepared for what's about to happen. I love Anne Snow's writing. It's the perfect amount of like grotesque and reflective. and I really, really like that, and I just find her characters, like, likable. Except for the Three Little Pigs. That was just a short little nasty, but these books, like, they're just so readable, and they're so, like, they're some of the only more extreme horror books that I feel genuine empathy and sympathy for these characters, even though most of the time the situations they find themselves in are entirely self-inflicted. I just find it really insane. Anyway, sorry if you can't hear me, I have a fan going, but I didn't feel like setting up. I'm on page 40, and loving it. Also, I switched, this is like a side rant, but I switched from Spotify to an app called Lyra, because I hate Spotify. Fuck Spotify, they fund ICE and all that, you know, just evil billionaire stuff. So I wanted to get rid of my Spotify. I've been using Lyra for a few weeks now. So because I'm using Lyra, I can't use Stats FM, which is what I used to use to track my music, but it's Spotify and Apple Music only. So I had to switch to Last FM, which is where you scrabble. And so Last FM has been giving me a lot of good recommendations. I've also been on Bandcamp a lot, and I've been looking at stuff on Lyra. Lyra has very, very, very hyper-specific recommendations based on your listening that I find are better than Spotify ever was, for me at least. And so I've been making playlists every month. I mean, I started this Lyra journey in July. It's August now, obviously. And so I have 2 playlists from July. One is stuff that I found on Bandcamp and couldn't afford yet, so I'm gonna listen to it, and then if I like it, I'll buy it on Bandcamp. And then the other one is just stuff that I found via the algorithm or social media, or like whether it's Lyra or Last.fm or social media or whatever. So I have 2 playlists every month, one of Bandcamp stuff and one of stuff that I found through recommendations on various websites. I have so many good albums, and I've just been listening to some really insane, brutal deathcore, and it's just setting the scene. It's setting the scene. I love deathcore so much. I'm definitely gonna start posting about my music more, like what music I listen to, because obviously my brand is a goth who reads a lot, and I do use a lot of trending audios, but I want to start using and talking about music and the kind of stuff that I enjoy outside of books as well, like movies and TV shows, and especially music and like the type of music that I'm listening to. So if you want to see any of that, keep your eyes peeled on my social media. Anyway, that's all to say, I'm gonna keep reading, but this book is crazy and I'm really loving it. We've had really good luck with good books today. I finished Little Red Riding the Dark Web. That ate. Like, I think we've been reading in order of quality. Like, Pigman was really good, and then Meat was, like, amazing, and then Little Red Riding the Dark Web, like, are you kidding? Oh my gosh, wow. I love dark web stuff. Like, I love, like, non-real life. Not really. Let me rephrase. I like reading about the quote-unquote dark web and like snuff films and stuff. Like, I find that so interesting as a concept because it's kind of mythos, you know? Like, snuff films are not real in the sense, in the way that they are in horror media and the way people talk about them. They're more of a, you know, cautionary tale, I guess. But wow, that was really, really good. It had some tension. It had emotional beats that were just far outside the typical realm of extreme horror or splatterpunk. Like, it kept pushing me in all these different directions, but not in a way that felt impractical or unnecessary. It was genuinely all so intentionally put together. I don't know how else to explain it. I love this. I think Anne Snow's books so far, I haven't read her debut, which is called Archangel, so I still need to read that, but as I've read all 4 of her other books that are in her like horror fairy tale, I think it's called Fairy Tale Freaks series, and I think they are in order of how good they are, because my favorite was Goldilocks and the Three Men, and that is book 3, and then Little Red Riding the Dark Web is definitely my favorite now, so it's definitely going in that order. Okay, it's like 10:01, so I do want to get in something like happy and sweet before I go to sleep. You're not going to see that. That's not going to be in this video, don't worry. I'm not going to water down your extreme horror video with me reading gay fan fiction to make myself feel better after reading all this, but I do want to have time to do that, so we're going to read one more today, and then we'll do a bunch more tomorrow. So I think, I don't know what we should go for. I want it to be a little bit of a longer one, maybe. I think we're going to read this one, but one second. The one that we're going to go for is called My Vagina Smells Like Sulfur. I don't remember what it's about. It's 135 pages, but I really want to read this because she has a couple extreme horror series. Like, she has a 10-book series called Raised by a Serial Killer, and I really want to do a video reading all of those because there's 10 of them. I haven't read any of her books, so I don't want to commit to it if they're gonna all be bad, so I wanted to read this one first. So we're gonna read My Vagina Smells Like Sulfur, and I am scared to find out what that title is from. Hi everybody, welcome in to a new day. That's good. Okay, so we finished 4 books last night. The last one being My Vagina Smells Like Sulfur. That was a pretty crazy book. It was very comedic. I wasn't expecting it. It was very dark humor in the sense that like terrible things are happening and all the characters are so unserious. Like it's kind of hilarious, and it was about the dark web again. I didn't even know that when I picked it, but I guess we're just reading about the dark web today or yesterday. We read 3 books about the dark web. So it's about, how do I explain it? I don't even know how to explain it. I think it's best if you go in like pretty blind, but what I would like you to know is it's about the dark web and like influencing people and the people behind the videos and stuff. It's like behind the scenes of making dark web videos. Quite interesting. I think it was funny. It was probably my least favorite out of the 4 we read so far. Actually, maybe I liked it more than the Pigman. I don't know, but it was pretty good. Next, we're gonna try to read like all day today until like evening time. It's like 1 o'clock, so we're gonna read for a good like 5 or 6 hours. Let's see what we've got going on. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. I liked the writing style. It was a little bit stiff sounding, or like just a little too sounding like it was written and not said with the dialogue, because it's very dialogue heavy, but I did like it overall. Ooh, wait, maybe we should read Dollface. This is a series that I've been wanting to read for a long time. I think there's 3, and 1 second, it's downloading. So that's quite an opening sentence. It's 90 pages. It's called, oh, I forgot that I don't have the covers on. It's called Dollface. Dollface, okay? There's multiple in this series. I think they like continue each other. Like I don't think they're just like interconnected standalones. I think they like continue a story. So that's really interesting. I really like the idea of like a extreme horror series. I think that's really cool. So this one is 90 pages. I have no clue what it's about. Let's see. But I'll show you the first sentence. Let's get into it. I think this one's gonna be pretty gnarly, okay? Yeah. So yeah, update, this book is basically crazy. It's about a man, a pedophile, who captures preteen aged girls and kills them and rapes them. And he has this little doll, and one day the doll comes to life. But she's got like a little toddler body because she was a doll that he would abuse. But she has like the mind of an adult. So she goes on a rampage, getting her revenge for all of the girls that he killed and assaulted. And I'm halfway through it already. It reads very fast. I love a revenge story, like character is brutalized and then she like comes out and destroys him. I love that. It's justice that we don't see in the real world. I like it. Anyway, I just finished Dollface. That was crazy. I actually loved that though. It was very satisfying, as always, to see a rapist and a pedophile get killed. There's 2 more in the series, I think. I might read those later, but for now, I'll talk about it more in a little bit, maybe at the end of the video, because I don't really have like much thoughts going on. I just want to read. But I really enjoyed that. I recommend it if you like stories about victims getting their revenge on their abusers through crazy, crazy torture. Highly recommend. Next, I'm gonna read a book that I got on Godless a little while ago, For the Sake of, by Judith Sonnet. This is a author I've read books of before. She did No One Rides for Free, and I loved that book. I read that in a different vlog. So I'm gonna read this. It's 132 pages. So let's go. This book is actually crazy. Like I don't even know. So For the Sake of, it's basically like if you've ever seen the movie Nerve back in like the 2010s, it reminds me of like a fucked up version of that, because basically there's this guy, he calls himself Daddy, which is ridiculous, and he orchestrates these crazy games where he kidnaps someone that you love, and then every single step in the game you have to do something like really outrageous and debasing to save each of their limbs. So if you lose, the person dies, but if you lose a specific challenge, they cut off one of their limbs. Yeah, so it's really crazy, and we follow a woman named Tabby whose daughter was abducted 8 months ago, and Daddy, oh my god, he found her, the daughter, and set up a game for Tabby. And Tabby's first task, they always do like an introductory task where like it's not worth anything, like you don't save a limb or anything. They just have to do a task to test how willing they are to do it. And her task was to tell her husband, who's been living at his parents' house, they've been like separated, to tell her husband to kill himself. I almost cried. Like, I genuinely, Judith Sonnet is so good at writing like emotion in her extreme horror books. This book is just getting me. I'm on page 69. It's just getting me. They keep talking about how the last task of these games is always the same and that most people don't do it. So I'm really scared as to what the last task might be. But I'm rooting for Tabby. I just finished For the Sake of, and I have decided that after that book, I think I want to leave it on a good note and finish the video here because I think we got some really, really, really good books read already. So even though it's only 6 books and I was planning for like 8 or 9 or 10, I think we got a really good amount and then we got really good recs for you guys. So what I finished For the Sake of, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Judith Sonnet has a way of doing the most intensely mind-fucking crazy plots, but they still are like so clean, like they still make sense. They're just so disturbing. All kinds of bodily fluids, all kinds of disgusting acts, sexual violence, violence against children, and also just like genuinely heartbreaking stuff. Like the final step in Daddy's like game, I guess, was so fucked up, and then at the end of it, that wasn't the end of the fucked upness. It got even more fucked up after that, and then even more fucked up after that, because there's like 2 chapters after the final test, and it was just so crazy. But I highly recommend if you like Judith Sonnet, because once again, her books are really extreme horror. Like they're really crazy. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe this one's not as bad as No One Writes for Free, but it definitely was. It was crazy. So we read 6 books in this video, all of which I would recommend if you are a seasoned extreme horror reader. If you're not, maybe one day I'll make a video on like how to get started in extreme horror, because I don't think any of these books are a good start. Well, maybe the Pigman, honestly, because it's very short and it's not, listen, I was about to say it's not overly graphic. That's just not true. I have a very skewed interpretation of like what is too much, and but I liked all of these books a lot, and I think my favorite was probably Little Red Riding the Dark Web or Meat. Also, coincidentally, For the Sake of was also a dark web book, so almost all of the books we read took place or related to the dark web, which is very interesting. So we read Pigman, that was pretty good, short and sweet. Really disgusting. Like it was mainly like gross out horror. It wasn't like as heavy on like disturbing or the violence. It was just gross out, but I liked it. I would read something from that author again. And then we read Meat, which was amazing. It was just this crazy clusterfuck of erotic gore and horror, and I think it was just so perfectly disturbing and unsettling, and I loved it. Like love. Little Red Riding the Dark Web was again my favorite of Anne Snow's so far. I loved it so much. I still haven't read Archangel, but this one is my favorite so far that I've read of hers. It was so visceral and just intensely gory and disgusting, but also just heartbreaking again. Like her and Judith Sonnet, Anne Snow and Judith Sonnet do, I just love when women write horror. I just, because they get the emotional beats mixed in with the gore and the grotesque and the disgustingness, and it adds so much emphasis to what the characters are going through and what they're doing, and I think both of those authors do that amazing. My Vagina Smells Like Sulfur, that was pretty good. It was very funny despite all of the crazy shit that was going on in the book. And what else do we read? Oh, Dollface. Dollface was good. I didn't talk much about it. It was satisfying. It was a very circular book. I do want to read the next in the series. I'll probably do that sometime this week, because they're just short and sweet. It was like, it said it was 90 pages, but I read it in like 20 minutes, so I don't know. But it was, yeah, I like Dolly. It was again quite disturbing because she is in the body of a 3-year-old child, so it's like, and the torture was quite creative but very disgusting. So those are all the books that I read this time around. Let me know if you have any recs for extreme horror or dark romance or any taboo, disgusting, gross books that you want me to read in another video like this, or if you just have anything you want me to read, let me know. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at efreeds, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for sticking around, thanks for being a friend, and I will be posting consistently on all of my platforms from this point on, so stay tuned for more extreme horror, stay tuned for more fantasy, more classics, more crazy, fun, magical, gross, disgusting, disturbing, smutty books. Okay? Let me know if you have any ideas for future videos, and I'll see you later. Stay woke.